spend, you know,
Sounds like
on the phone for an hour
really
with the nursing home.
Get this.
Things going on.
Look at that thing, Davey. Yeah.
I don't know what that's doing, but it was.
Shows the authority I've got here. Welcome to the April 12th meeting. There you go. Daviess County Council. We will start as always with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing on the agenda, minutes from the last meeting. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to review them or read them. Questions, comments?
I read through them and I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Matt.
Second.
Second, I didn't see who it was. By Mike, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, the Westgate one, tax abatement.
Morning.
Morning.
Come on.
Good.
Good. So I was just, the folks from Strongbox just got a hold of me. I think they're running a couple minutes late, but they do plan to be here, so they may be joining us anytime. But as you all know, yes.
You want
You
to
want
do
to
other items and then wait till they get here? or
That's
how do you-
fine. Yeah, you guys want to
Whatever
do
you
that?
want.
Yeah, no, let's do that. Just so we're keeping them in the loop with everything. Yeah, if you guys want to do that, that's just fine.
Okay, if they're going to be here any minute.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. And next would be Lauren. Sounded good on the radio yesterday, by the way.
Thank you. There was one little hiccup, but after that, it was pretty smooth. But Dwayne's a pro, that he helps, that's for sure. So as you know, we're getting ready for the courthouse renovation. So all of the actual files, since we've been on the computer for the courts, are regular paper form. So I have all the girls scanning those in their free time so that they can be shredded. I can actually talk about the second thing I'm up here for too, the appropriation, because it all kind of goes together, if that's okay.
Fine.
Okay, so those are all getting scanned, and then they're getting shredded. And we had a girl shredding, and that was taking a lot of time, and I kept having to buy all shredder oil, and it was a little bit much. So somebody suggested that the prosecutor's office use a soprano shredding, so I got a hold of them. They've already started coming. They actually left us 5 big totes. Every 2 weeks, they're going to come take what we have and give us new totes. So I've already started that per the commissioners, and I just have the contract. So I wanted to let you guys know that that was going on. I'm not sure how that's going to get paid for, but that's happening. And then the second part, I had asked for an additional appropriation to try to hire somebody else. I've already got one part-time person that I've hired, but my budget for part-time is pretty low. So I would like to hire a second person, get a second computer, and all those people are gonna be doing is 30 hours a week of just straight scanning, because there's so much that needs to be scanned. And if we're looking at an October date, I mean, there was no way our girls were gonna get it done without having 2 other people. So that's why the additional appropriation, to try to get a computer for that person and to have them work 30 hours a week to
For
work
how
on the
long?
scanning. I told them I was gonna estimate 6 months. I don't know how long it's gonna last. If they get done before that, of course, they know that they wouldn't be there anymore. But if they don't, then whenever the reno starts, I won't have a space to put them probably. So we'll have to make a decision at that time. So I just asked for $20,000 for the wage, because I don't know for sure how long it'll take. And Jen did say that if it's not used, it will just stay in that fund. It won't be anywhere else, so.
How much money do we have in that fund?
The perpetuation fund?
Yeah.
A little over 100,000.
That's good.
So,
Questions, comments?
oh, they have,
Would-
go ahead.
Would Dale have an extra computer around here somewhere?
It's very possible. We could ask something that would get a,
I don't believe he does, and the only reason I'm saying that is because I've got some training. We're getting ready to go to a new child support system, and my girls need to be totally out of the office to train so that they're not distracted. So I asked if he had an extra computer to put in another room to do that, and he said he did not. So I am assuming that's the case for this too.
But we could check.
I was gonna say, since it's a part-time thing.
Maybe Dan's got one.
And I can tell you too that Dale was actually in my office not long ago, and he was looking at my computers, and almost all of my computers are from 2017. I think I have 2 from 2019, but all the rest are 2017. And he suggested that to try for the budget for next year to get the money put in there to go ahead and get new ones, because he said you can't fix them when they're that old. So assuming that's the case, if we get this new one, it can be one of those for next year.
Any other questions? We're gonna go ahead and wait and approve that when we do our appropriations. That's fine.
Okay. And then for the Piranha, how do I file the claims when I start getting the bills for that?
Hey, Dale,
He could-
we were just asking.
You sitting back here watching?
Uh-oh. Join me.
He was finishing his snack.
Yeah,
Biscuits and gravy.
and he didn't bring anything to share.
We do not have a computer on the shelf anywhere that would handle the processing of the images. I mean, what she's doing is, you know, pulling in images. I'm still not, do you know, where are we storing these images? As you scan stuff in?
They're going into Odyssey cases.
Okay, Odyssey, so that's, this isn't for the book scanning. This is just your
No,
paper scanning for
there,
Odyssey.
no.
Either way, it's an image processing function on the back once that image comes in, and what I've got back here would be counterproductive to hiring another person, I guarantee you. It would never keep up, so you do have quotes. I think
Yes.
I've got her quotes for
Yes.
a machine that would handle it.
That makes sense.
Answers that.
Yep.
Or is it Piranha? Those to you.
I don't know that, how much it's gonna cost overall versus what you already have in your budget. And if it's something, if we have a line item or something in your, perpetuation fund, I don't know what you're requesting, where you're wanting that paid from. Do you have an idea, Lauren, where you were?
Well, I have like 7,000 something as a line item for extra clerical. So this is kind of the same thing, this money. Is that what you're asking, where this money should go? In
No,
the-
I'm speaking to your Piranha, to the shredding that you're
Oh,
asking for, on where you're, if you had any idea of where you were
I
wanting.
don't, whatever you suggest is what we'll do, I don't know.
Or they have one too.
I have one too. But that would be perpetuation, you know, they're,
She has a perpetuation fund. I don't know if that's something she's willing to potentially come back and ask for it to be appropriated in a line for us to be able to use to spend money there.
What else comes out of that?
Her, Lauren, what else
The
do you?
perpetuation fund can only be used for restoration of records. It's a very limited thing, so
So it's
I
like your
don't know if
scanners and
scanning
stuff.
would be, or if shredding would be approved to be filed under that or not. I'm not sure.
So,
So then it may have to come out of her budget, so she may have to ask for an appropriation for a line to be created to be able to do contract services or something.
but if you say that Dan's already using it,
Yes. Prosecutor's office
So-
uses this service, yes.
so we have to have 2 separate contracts?
For it
The
to be,
contract's already been signed by the commissioner, so yes.
I know, but I mean, but if,
we question this, and for Piranha to be able to bill her department for the services they do for her, they wanted a separate account and contract to separate that out. So that was asked.
like,
Wonder if she could find out if we can use it out of there. I'll
Well,
stick-
that's what she,
Really?
sounds like we need to think about a county contract, consolidate if we can, and I don't know if there's any cost savings in that or not, but
I mean, can they clarify?
it'd sure be
that?
worth looking at.
From what I understand, they do it by pound.
yeah.
There's not like a,
Well, then,
Can
they
we-
do it by pound, then why do we have, it sounds like we just need one contract, and they're just gonna accumulate it from the county, and whatever weight it is, then that's what we pay. So, anyway,
I do believe, that I've never dealt with Piranha in this kind of level, but I have personally, and I've talked to them a little bit, I think that there is a minimum poundage that they have to have before they'll come. They send a truck up from Evansville, and they just send up here for like, you know, 1 bag of shredding.
Well, that was in the contract. They were only gonna come with so many
Right.
We're gonna have enough for a while that they'll come every 2
400
weeks.
pounds, I think, is that what it is, or?
I don't know, but they gave us 5 of those big totes, and that 1.5 file cabinets goes in each tote. So, I mean, we're gonna be able to fill those 5 totes every 2 weeks for a while.
The multiple contract might be a good thing, but that's something commissioners have to dig into because they're the only ones who can sign the contract. So the issue we're taking now is that where do those funds come from?
Can we clarify with the, if we can, I mean, you're working with records, you're just destroying records. Can that be a part of that account or not? I mean, do we know that for
The
sure?
perpetuation
Yeah.
one, I don't know about. I mean, I know the scanning part can be, but
Yeah.
as far as the shredding, Jen, what is your thought on that?
I mean, we
We'd
can
have to
check,
look
right?
into it.
Yeah.
We'd have to look into it to try to get verification on what, if it, because if we're preserving them digitally and destructing them that way, I don't know
That's
if
kind of
it'll,
part of the process, right?
potentially, I don't know.
Can we clarify that?
We can look into it
Yeah.
and
Seems
find
like in the
out.
21st century, that should be considered a part of preserving the records, to scan
Yeah.
them digitally and, preserve them digitally, even if you're getting rid of the actual record
All
itself.
part of the same
Plenty of
process,
money
all
there.
Right.
Yeah.
process.
Just makes common sense, but that doesn't always apply to government.
No, that's true.
So we could look into it and then from there, do an additional appropriation next month to potentially put it within her budget or into that budget specifically. The contract fees, we could ask for that.
Yep, we'll find out and then go from there.
Okay. Am I okay to order the other computer then, or are we deciding on that?
Well, Dale's already said no, that he doesn't have anything.
Right?
So you're,
Am I good to do that? Okay.
in about 15 minutes, you'll be good,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Okay, just clarifying. Thank you so much.
The only comment I would have is that whatever you're going to get needs to be what you're gonna need with your possible, update
He will
coming
make
in
sure
in
that
the
that's the
next
case.
budget. So
Yeah,
keep that in mind. We don't want an odd duck and then we get something else and
Right.
it's not gonna be what you need.
right. Yeah, he'll make sure he gets the best that we can.
Okay,
at the
thanks.
time. So, thank you.
Since we're jumping around, we'll jump back to number 2.
Brian?
Jump up there, and you got Paul with you?
All right, he made it. He was just, just,
I missed the exit.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was talking on the phone.
yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
I was telling him, I was just talking with Ashley Willis in Pike County yesterday, giving her a hard time about if you miss the exit to Washington off of I-69, we have to drive all the way down to Pike County. So Paul's been a little further south this morning as well. So
Tour of the county.
that's right.
Gary's in here, a hands-free phone, yeah.
Yeah.
Pay more attention.
Yeah, exactly. So, so yes, we have Paul Kite with Strongbox Commercial here. As you all recall, Strongbox is the developer on the Westgate 1 project up in the northern part of the county at Westgate. And today, we are in front of you asking for approval on the SB1 that they have submitted for the real property tax incentive, the tax abatement for the Westgate 1 project. In the past few months, you've worked with the 4 operating companies and stimulus economic development advisors on that. Myself and Grant and Lisa Lee are all working with the stimulus team, with the Strongbox team on finalizing economic development agreements. We are in the last stretch on that, just making sure we're getting a few things cleaned up. So what we would recommend today, and Grant, I would welcome any feedback from you, is approval of the SB1. Grant, I believe, provided a draft resolution to you all to approve today, but contingent upon finalizing and mutual agreement of the economic development agreements. So
It just once that happens, then it just allows us, we don't have to come back and,
exactly, yeah. It's being respectful of Paul's time, making sure he doesn't have to drive all the way down to Pike County again and back up.
You won't see me until we do the next bill.
That's right. Exactly. And just keeps things moving. It's in their court at the moment, and I think we caught you guys in spring break and other times with their legal counsel being out, Lindsay, Paul's vice president of the company, being out as well on vacation. So it's just that time of year. So, Paul, do you have anything to add?
No, everything's good, on track. We're anxious to get started. We're getting finalized on all the drawings, and hopefully we'll have construction start here this summer. Need to.
Good deal.
It's exciting. Questions, comments for Paula Bryant?
Guys might just,
Sure.
so real estate.
Yeah, so the SB1 is the state document that has to be submitted to you all. So there's the SB1 real property, which you're taking a look at today, right? And that was submitted a couple months ago, I believe. So what's being proposed here, and well, Paul, I'll let you speak to kind of the investment on
Sure.
your guys' end.
So we're talking about I would say it's a minimum $40 million investment in the project. Hopefully a whole lot more, but it's definitely going to be north of 40 million investment in the project for a 150,000 square foot office and manufacturing facility for microelectronics, specifically targeting defense needs originating out of Crane. And this is this is the property immediately east of Westgate Academy.
Paul, does that include the clean room investment or not?
That does not include.
That does not? Okay.
Does not include the clean room investment.
Which is about,
Which would be another 45 or 50
Yeah.
million just for the clean room.
and
So what we're approving today is just strictly for the office space?
The real property, nothing, no personal property.
Yes.
just the
Oh,
real
okay,
property,
gotcha,
yeah.
okay.
So, and the reason we mentioned the clean rooms get a little complicated in terms of the way that they're assessed. Back when we were talking about this project this past summer, late fall, this past year, myself, Grant, and Nathan, Tony, Matt, Darren, all of us had multiple conversations with Danny Eaton, the assessor at the time, and then Crystal, the assessor now, just about how that would be assessed. Most of that actually does, to my understanding, get assessed as real property. So as Paul's mentioning, that number in terms of the investment that will be hitting the tax rolls in terms of real property will likely be very much higher than that 40 million, just based on that clean room investment. But the way that it's structured, a lot of that, to my understanding, is coming from grants, right?
Correct, yeah.
So from the federal government, the CARES Act, the CHIPS Act, CHIPS and Science Act that was led by Senator Young is really driving a lot of this investment in many ways. A lot of that is actually being housed and administered out of Crane, out of NSWC Crane. So that's where some of that investment is coming in. Last thing I'll mention, it was just yesterday I was talking with the Pike County Economic Development official, and we were down in Evansville at the Engage Southwest Indiana event that was led by Inside Indiana Business and Secretary of Commerce Brad Chambers. It was pretty neat. Secretary Chambers kept talking about the Westgate 1 investment. He talked about enhanced and 4 semiconductor companies investing in Southwest Indiana. So it was really gratifying to be there and see Daviess County being center stage while we're down at Evansville. Kind of stole some of their thunder, which is
Yeah, so when you hear enhanced, there's actually at least 3 or 4 other major companies that'll be in that building and also officing in that building. Well,
Anything else? Grant, anything from you?
Yeah, just to refresh you guys on our timeline here. We started on this a few months back. We're getting close to the end. Today, again, you've got in front of you the real property tax abatement. You've got the SB1 attachment that was sent to you in the past. Again, Paul mentioned some of the details. 40 million cost, estimated 30 million assessed value, 300 to 400 jobs, average wage of approximately $100,000 each. So it's a big investment. Should have a copy there of the real estate abatement, if you have it in front of you there. Okay, so I'm gonna read through this, and if you guys wanna grab a seat, or,
thank you.
and then we'll take a vote if that's acceptable. Whereas Westgate 1 has requested the County Council of Davis County, Indiana approve a 10-year real property tax abatement deduction schedule for the construction of a facility for the development of a microelectronics campus. which will include the installation of new manufacturing, research and development, logistical distribution, and IT equipment. Whereas the company has advised the council that it intends to develop the facility on property located in Madison Township, Davis County, Indiana, and designated as an ERA following a public hearing on February 8, 2023. Whereas the real property is located within the jurisdiction of the council for the purposes of IC 6.1.1, 12.13, and IC 6.1.1, 12.1-17 in connection with the redevelopment or rehabilitation of the real property. Whereas the company submitted to the council a Form SB1, Statement of Benefits in connection with the facility, which is attached. That was submitted in the past and was covered this morning, and provided all information and documentation necessary for the council to make an informed decision. And whereas the council hereby determines that the deduction under IC 6.1.1, 12.1-3 should be allowed based on the following findings. The value of the redevelopment or rehabilitation is reasonable for projects of this nature. The number of individuals to be employed reasonably result from the redevelopment or rehabilitation of the real property. The annual salaries of those individuals to be employed reasonably resulted from the development or rehabilitation of the real property. The number of individual opportunities for employment, both temporary and permanent, and the compensation paid to employees, along with the value of the acquisition and construction of the facility, create benefits of the type and quality anticipated by this council within the ERA and can reasonably be expected to result from the described redevelopment or rehabilitation of real property. And the totality of the benefits provided by the redevelopment or rehabilitation is sufficient to justify the deduction. Now therefore, based on the foregoing, the County Council of Davis County, Indiana hereby resolves, finds, and determines that the statement submitted by the company is hereby approved. The council hereby expressly authorizes and directs the president to execute and the county auditor to attest the statement that the company is entitled to a real property tax deduction for a period of 10 years as allowed under IC 6.1.1, 12.13, and IC 6.1.1, 12.117, each as in effect on the date hereof, and in accordance with the following abatement schedule hereby adopted pursuant to IC 6.1.1, 12.117, a 10-year deduction, 100% abatement. This resolution shall be effective upon passage. And you have your signature page there. If there are no more questions, I would suggest entertaining a motion on passage, and this assumes that we get our economic development agreements in place. Thank you.
With that, anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Mr. Sprinkle, and second?
Second.
Matt, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Motion carries. Couple things before we go any further. Thank you, Paul. Everything's going on. That it's as exciting as can be. Brian, step back up here a minute.
Darts.
Yeah, that's right.
One last
This
time.
is
Yeah.
Brian's last meeting to address us. Happy for him. We hate it from the Davis County standpoint. I was on that group when we interviewed and hired
Sure.
Brian many years ago, but I just want to say from the council standpoint, thank you for everything that you've done. You've done an awful lot with everybody there at Westgate.
Sure.
And everything else. There's just been a lot of good things happen. Got the Commons project. There's a laundry list of things we could say.
Yeah.
But basically, thank you. Good luck. Appreciate everything you've done for Davis County.
Thank you so much. No, I appreciate that. Oh, gosh. Thank you. I really am very grateful to all of you. And yes, thank you, Tony, for the very kind words. No, I'm not going far, right? I'm going to be doing a lot of the same stuff that we just talked about, working very closely with Paul. He's not getting rid of me just yet, right? We're going to be working very closely together with the Upland Science and Technology Foundation. So it's something, it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. But it was an opportunity I felt like I couldn't pass up, right? And it's something I'm very passionate about, doing the work up at Westgate. Daviess County has a tremendous asset up there. The region has a tremendous asset up there. So I'm excited to continue to drive that forward. And yeah, I'll be working with you all very closely. My goal is to help my successor, right, in driving development up there, being an extension of them in a lot of ways. What I talked about with the role that I'm currently in, right, it's hard. You're balancing so many opportunities. You're being pulled in so many directions, right, whether it's rural broadband to quality of life to housing to traditional economic development, the Shell building, Westgate, and all of the other counties, right? I mean, excuse me, all the other communities in Daviess County. So hopefully this will give an opportunity to my successor to focus more on those other areas, knowing that Westgate, is hopefully, I believe, they feel in good hands, right? And driving that forward, continuing to work with Paul and his team, others to drive investment up there. So thank you all so much for your support. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you. I look forward to continue working with you, and I wish you all the best. Daviess County's best years are ahead of it. So thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, appreciate it, thanks. All right, Midwest Resort Agreement.
I don't see Crystal here, but I can talk on that real quick. She did go before commissioners yesterday. That is to do with the Form 11s. They did go ahead and get that passed yesterday, so those will be going out soon, she said.
At the commissioners meeting. Passed.
Yes, it passed.
Questions? Daviess County Visitors Bureau. Basically, they're continue to work on the contract, which that meeting is again tomorrow. I'll let you and Jen address anything need to, or Mr. Joel here if he.
Briefly, at your last meeting, we had a motion to bring funds back in-house and work on our ordinances and processes to accomplish what we talked about with the State Board of Accounts. So I know that is in process. I don't believe it's finalized, but maybe, Jen, if you would give the council an update on that.
Misty and I did meet with the Visitors Bureau Board, and I guess it's been a couple of weeks ago now, and we talked about trying to get all that stuff sent over here. We were trying to wait until after the council meeting and try to have a clean line, and Misty's been working with them trying to get some budget lines put in and everything put into our system. So the check has not physically been written back over yet, as we've been trying to get everything in line before we get that done, but it should be here soon and at the latest by the end of the month.
Thank you.
And we talked about that last meeting, so from that standpoint, the sooner the better.
Yeah, and just are there any questions or
I was
comments
just
about
gonna
that?
say, a lot of us sit on different boards. Marilyn sits on that board, so if Marilyn has any comments or.
Just in the process, we spoke with Misty yesterday about some incoming invoices and claim form that the chamber representative is completing, and we're getting that over so that we can get that process started. But it's all moving along.
Good.
You have anything you'd like to say?
Well, I came for just to learn. Appropriating. I came just to learn a couple things. Are you appropriating today, any of those? Because it sounds like we're not doing that today.
No.
No.
Okay.
The funds were all within categories, so except for one piece of it that was in that budget. So there is one on the transfers today to get it into the correct category. Other than that, everything would be put in those categories, or it's all within category.
And once the agreement is done, then this group will take a look at it and go from there, obviously before budget season rolls around. So
The only thing I'd ask is what's been submitted thus far. I want to make sure that it's clear that, and there's some confusion on my part, so maybe I can have that cleared up today. When we did the last three budgets, we were a July 1 through June, and we're going to a calendar year, which is going to help everybody tremendously.
yes,
The budget that was submitted only included the first 3 months of 2023 to offset against what was spent against that $333,800 budget. My confusion may be that why aren't we including the previous 6 months of expenditures against that 333,800? And I don't know why we're not, but maybe it's just a lack of understanding on my part, because the money's been spent based upon the $333,800. Regardless of that particular answer, the additional 6 months that will need funding moving forward after June 30th, will that be included? Because what I've seen so far was the original budget amount minus only the first 3 months of 2023, leaving a balance that would be appropriated for the remaining part of the year. To me, it's simpler that if we're not going to make any changes in terms of what that vision was, how those dollars were being appropriated by line item, the simplest thing to me was, in my thoughts, and I'd ask your thoughts, if we had $333,800 and we need an additional 6 months, let's just split that in half and add it to what's being appropriated, and then we'll talk about next budget cycle. Hey, what's the vision? What's the plan? How are we going to spend these dollars, and what are your estimates? Because right now, as it stands, what was submitted does not include that. It's actually short.
Okay, well, I didn't aim to cut you off. Were you finished? First of all, I share your confusion. I think everyone does. Secondly, it's difficult for me to discuss any of those budget numbers when I have not seen any number. All I see is emails, quite a few. So until this board gets numbers in advance of when we need to make a decision, not like just throw it in here, you know, we need to have time from both boards to sit and go through it, compare it to what it is from a 6-month basis, what it is on an annualized basis, and compare it to last year. We continue to try to fix things that aren't broken. So we will have time and individually take our time and look at that and ask questions to both boards before we come in here and make a decision. But having, as I said, sharing your confusion, only seeing emails from my standpoint, having not seen any numbers, it's difficult to say anything. Once we see something, then we can reach out and make decisions. And I open the floor to everybody here, because
Joe,
Yes,
when
sir.
you submitted your budget last year,
Yes, sir.
was it for a full 12-month period?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Not a calendar year, but our
Right.
fiscal year.
But
Correct.
it's, the money for the 12-month period is
Correct.
gonna be the same to finish out this year, is that right? We already have the budget in place that Joe submitted.
Should be.
Because
So
we
we
do it off a calendar year.
Yeah,
How they, and alter that on their behalf, our side is all by calendar
always been
year.
on the calendar. Okay, so I think we're okay with what you submitted already.
Well, yes, but it's been resubmitted, and I wasn't part of that process.
Oh, I haven't
How
seen
we're
it yet.
allocating those dollars, and it's just simple math. We have spent 9 months when you consider July 1st through the end of March. That should offset that $333,800, and that would give me a balance. Okay, that carries me for the next 3 months. What are you gonna do about the next 6 months? And to me, the simplest answer to solve that problem, just take the $333,800 that we already had budgeted, so we don't have to recreate anything, split it in half, extend it to 6 months, and that should be the number. That seems simple to me, but when I raise those questions, words like, it's just a pass-through, it doesn't really matter. Well, in my opinion, it matters to me and my staff, because we're the ones creating the vision, the plan, the strategy, how we execute it, and if you don't have resources to execute any of the three, then we're just passing through with our time, trying to be creative and do our job in terms of the way it's been stated prior to any future contract.
I will say it's a little, from what I hear, I have not been involved, nor do I really need to. It's been a more complex, convoluted issue than it needs to be. I think the KISS method has gone out the window on the whole process. But when, here again, reiterate, when those numbers get to us, we will look through it on a fine-tooth comb and go from there.
Well, in
But here again,
closing,
it's, everything's what we hear, what we see in an email from this one and that one, that one. Old school, let's just see some paper, and then we'll go from there.
thank you, and I appreciate it. And it's not gonna be the same effect as when you just said the old school KISS method, but I'm glad you brought that up, because next weekend's Wine and Brew Fest, and we got the #1 KISS tribute band, and it should be a wonderful time, so I can't wait to see all your great faces there.
Great segue.
Hopefully painted faces.
Yeah.
Yes, and if we can accommodate that. Thank you.
Led you in there well.
Tony, maybe just a suggestion. If you or if someone on this council wants to participate in that to try to keep it simpler and move us along, we can probably get a commissioner that's also willing to do that, and we can make some progress in the next, say, 30 days. It relates to the contract as well, because I think the groups are at times speaking past each other. If we could just simplify the process and simplify the number of people who are involved, that might be a bit easier. Just a suggestion.
Well, and he's absolutely right, and I wanted to echo what he said. And every dollar, when we talk to dollars, that's in this contract are dollars that have already been appropriated and approved by this council. And this is, and I'm speaking now on the Chamber of Commerce. This contract is nothing but being whole. It's not making us rich. So that old phrase, make you whole, not rich, this is purely the exact same dollars that were appropriated. It's just trying to streamline items such as, okay, the base compensation, where does that go? What is that, how's that gonna employ? And you've heard me say in the previous two times that we want to bring on another staff member. We're using those surplus dollars from the previous year, what we collected more than what we budgeted, to be able to do that. The operating expenses are clearly every operating expense that's in that current budget. Just go ahead and let us handle that part of it. The marketing expenses are marketing items. They do not include those additional tourism silos like corporate tourism, agribusiness and livestock tourism, arts and culture. That is not, there's no controls in place for us on that. That's for the commission, right, based upon the vision. Of course, we still have to seek and file a claim to be reimbursed when we do a TV advertisement or sponsorship for Comcast or IHSAA or the hospitality suite at one of the high schools during the sectional, regional, semi-state, those kind of things that come out of those budgetary items. But beyond that, in terms of language, it's very clear. Statement of work, the base compensation, operating and marketing expenses are spelled out specifically, and it's not using any more dollars than have already been appropriated.
With Grant's recommendation, I don't know, obviously Maryland can't. It would be negotiating with her. If there's anyone else who would want to dive in and help, I know we have a commissioner who's working on that. I don't know that I would be the best person for that. I would have a come into Jesus meeting with both sides and be done quickly. So I don't know that I'm the better person for that.
That's maybe what needs to be done.
Well, in fairness to both sides, we just clearly have reached a point where there's a philosophical difference of what the roles are. And for us, me specifically, this is what I've inherited. And the role of our organization and how we function is based upon previous ordinances and what the expectation and purpose in that was. So it's a great opportunity for our community and our county to clearly define that where we're going forward. Certainly we're a lot different as a county and a community than we were in 1987 when this was even started. So it's a great opportunity. I feel that we're going to find a great resolution to all this, and we're going to be able to move forward, whatever direction that is.
I led you into one a while ago, so you just led me into one. We are going to move forward. We're going to go to the next item agenda. I thank you. Grant will take that up. If somebody here wants to do that, we'll try to figure something out. And need to, I can, but see smiling faces, maybe we'll get a volunteer here. Anything else from you on that issue?
Just want to remind you that we're making modifications to this ordinance. That was discussed at last meeting. I've emailed out some suggestions on what I would like to see and what I think would be helpful for the boards to work underneath. So if you've got any feedback on that, please offer that up. And then maybe next month we'll be able to pass that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you both. Next item, YMCA donation. You have in your packet and on your iPad. The commissioners had agreed to give $50,000 to the problem that they're having at the pool, HVAC. They have a campaign going on, Making Lives Healthier. Comments?
Tony, I think we have some folks in the line.
Come on up, ladies.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, you must be slipping. I didn't hear it's as clear as mud comment from you during that last discussion. I was waiting for that.
I'm being kind and trying to bite my tongue.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to speak this morning. I'm Paula. I'm the new CEO. This is Jessica Henning, our aquatics director. We just want to, again, thank you for even considering this. Give you a little history. I think most of you know from the articles in the paper, we are now serving this community and the county for 75 years. So that's a pretty big birthday. And the pool, the Gwaltney Aquatic Center, was built, I think, in the 70s, early 70s. Mr. Gwaltney leading the charge there. Of course, you all know we're a nonprofit, and we don't discriminate at ROI. We don't make a profit. We are a nonprofit. We also subsidize up to 90% of the people who can't afford a scholarship or the fees to our facility. Swim lessons. We've taught plenty of your children and possibly grandchildren even. We teach lifeguarding. We do a lot of different things for not just the Y, also the city and the county. Lots of the kids come to be trained as lifeguards at our facility. We serve about, I think we figured it out, somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 people, not just members, but program participants per month just at our pool. So that's a pretty significant number. So we're coming to you today to ask, and I'll get on my knees if we need to beg for that donation, because it is definitely needed. And I will let Jessica kind of give you the more specifics, so you have a big picture. I know that we gave you the folder. The folder has some testimonies from some kids that swim there all the time in our after school and summer camp, and just some testimonies from some parents as well. Hand it to Jessica.
So we have major ventilation issues, as you've seen in there. I don't know, some of you guys I know have been to the pool, especially in the summers right now. It is terrible. We joke that the walls are crying. It's the humidity. It's terrible because of that ventilation. I don't know if you guys know about chloramines, but the buildup of those have been horrendous, and we're all breathing it. And we don't want that for the community. So this is crucial that we have this done, and done the right way. Properly coated for a pool, proper ventilation. We need fresh air. We have to open our doors right now, and that's on the outside, and that's a safety concern because anybody and everybody could just pop right in. But we really, really have to have these health issues addressed and fixed, and really hope that you consider helping us do that, because we're continually growing. We want to serve more and more people. We've added new programs. The amenities that we bring to the community, the county, and beyond is huge, and we just want to continue to grow so we can serve more people. As well, additionally, when we're talking about money, the bare minimum that we need would be $450,000 to do the project. That would only purchase the heat recovery unit, which is the ventilation system. That would cover the ductwork and the installation. So at bare minimum, that's what we need. But what the humidity has caused and so many things has caused so much damage. If you go and you look up at our ceiling, it's it's embarrassing.
And we invite you to come through for a tour. We'd be happy to give you one.
Yeah.
Through the whole facility, not just the pool.
Yes.
How are you doing so far on your fundraising?
Well, if you guys give us some money, we'll be at about 325.
And we, as an organization, have given 100,000 ourselves. So
Good
we're
stewards.
funding, a seventh of the project. So in total, if you've seen that brochure, the total project would be 700,000. But like I said, we can deal with, just getting our system fixed for 450. It wouldn't fix the major painting issues. It wouldn't fix the major corrosion that is caused, but we'll deal with, we'll get by. Also, we have, you want to allude?
Yes, the commissioners voted unanimously to support this. The city of Washington, thankfully, gave us a grant of $25,000 on Monday. And the Economic Development Corporation, I believe, is also giving us a $25,000. So, and we will have, our plans are to have a nice, big, huge sign in the pool area, non-corrosive, that will, of course, give all the donors credit and recognition.
We have received a grant or a donation from Knights of Columbus as well, the Glenn Graber Foundation, individual donors, and pledges, and we're still working on more grants and doing everything that we can.
So, do you guys have any questions for us?
Once you were to get to that, you said 450,000 roughly just to fix the things that absolutely have to be fixed, and you've got other things too. Once you get to that level of funding, how long will it take you to get started and try to complete, at least get those repairs fixed?
Well, we are expecting delivery of the actual unit at the end of this month. So we're going to begin draining the pool the 22nd or the 20th, somewhere in there. And the project's going to be going on.
Yeah.
So we have, our board is working on, and our pool task force committee is working on, bringing in more funds. Jessica and I are working on it very hard, writing grants left and right. So the work is going to begin pretty much in May. We just are really anxious to have the damage that has been caused, the mold remediation, the painting. I mean, you look at our ceiling and just gigantic pieces of paint are just peeling and falling on the floor. So, and in the pool. So, fish that out. But it's just very miserable in there. And as someone who has lung issues herself and loves to swim and loves to teach, it is very difficult for me to be in there longer than an hour, hour and a half. So, and as Jessica alluded to, I don't know if any of you know what chloramines are, but it is the buildup of a chemical. It's if you know anything about chlorine at all, it's a total chlorine that's in the area in the pool, and you subtract the free chlorine, and that's the level of chloramines. And it is very hard. It causes respiratory issues. It can cause eye, nasal, mouth issues. It's just not healthy at all.
The easiest thing we could do is shut down our pool. That would also be the worst thing that we could do. We serve so many people. She was talking about lifeguard certifications. We had a class last week. I had people come an hour away just because there wasn't any other place for them to get recertified. So we're serving people from there. That was Camp Rivervale, but we certify people from WOW, people from Big Splash, West Boggs, Vincent's University. I mean, and that's just one of our programs. So to shut down the pool, again, easiest thing to do, but the worst thing that we could do for our community, our county, and beyond. So we just ask that you would please consider helping support this. We've had people stop coming to the pool because they can't breathe. If we shut down the pool, I can't imagine how many people would stop even coming to the Y. There are people that come who physically can't utilize any other place because of their issues, and so coming to the pool is therapy for them. We have people that are told from CORE to come, to consistently exercise, because again, it's the best thing So we would lose a lot of memberships. I don't know how many, but what, half or?
It would be a significant amount.
And we wouldn't be able to fund other programs. It would affect us entirely.
Not just the pool. If we lost membership, it would affect other programs, youth programs, basketball programs, after school, everything. I mean, it would just affect a lot of things.
In addition to your request today, the 50,000, there may be some funds available in the near future through the help program that we're getting ready to kick off in a couple months here. It'll be kind of an application grant type thing, but those are county funds also.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Keep me posted.
Talk about lifeguard training, like everything else in the economy, it seems nowadays. I just saw a story the other day where, we're running short of lifeguards. We got the summer season coming up, and this may be the best travel season we've seen since pre-COVID, and we need more lifeguards out there. So we need programs like that.
Yeah, I just talked to Kip about that on Monday and last week too, because I worked at the city pool last summer as a manager, and it was most of the guards there I trained before Jessica came along. So it was, and they're all going to need to be recertified. And Vincennes is completely full. Their classes are full.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Just a point, as far as replacing the equipment, and the problem that you're having now with the moisture and the whole air quality and all, is it because the existing equipment is just worn out and can't handle and can't, or is it that it was not ever designed right to begin with and proper equipment installed to begin with?
A little bit of both. Honestly, it was not designed for that large of an area. And it's been in failure. It hasn't worked for about a year now. So it's gotten to the point where it is desperation time for us, really. It is.
Because the question, has this been going on for years, or is it just recently developed to where it's gotten to the point that it's unhealthy or whatever you want to say?
I think since last summer, it's been pretty, it's just non-operational. So we had a temporary fix put in that's recirculating air, but it's not bringing in fresh air, which is what is needed in an indoor environment. You have to have fresh air brought in, and the old air with all those chloramines pulled out.
But the existing system was not properly coated for a pool, and so it's been corroding from the inside out this whole time. So Paula can tell you stories of when she would be guarding in the summers when we had a system working, and I think, there's a story she tells me, she almost passed out one time because it was during the summer and we had a functioning, again, air quotes, functioning system, but it never had a refrigeration unit, so we never technically had AC, which makes no sense. So this would be the best quality air that we've ever had for our people. So, and it's needed.
What's the life expectancy on?
Good question, Marilyn. It's 15 to 20 years. So the money is going to be well spent. And the unit that's up there that was not properly coated and really didn't pull the air at the right speed or whatever.
Volume.
Yeah, volume.
There you go. Thank you. Has been there since 2006.
Oh, she's probably changed in 20 years on that.
Yeah.
And I know that because I've been up on that roof and looked at that unit numerous times. Replaced the belt one time, so.
No, I know this project is a great project. The Y serves everyone in the county. There's numerous people there. One of the fundraisers I talked to, I got numbers of people out in the county, so definitely I'll make a motion to approve that 50,000. Maybe we can look at the riverboat funds for that project, and I'll go ahead and make that motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by Matt, second by Tom. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, ladies.
Thank
you very much.
So kindly. Come and swim. Come and see us and swim.
Will do.
If you don't know how, we will help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Daviess County Airport.
This is kind of an overview of what we want to do. So yesterday at the commissioners meeting. And David, you can talk if you want to talk, or I can fill it in.
You talked yesterday, you're done today.
Yeah. So engineer was here, laid out all the costs associated with the airport extension. They approved moving forward with the project. About 1.5 million total for the project. The airport will use 700,000 of their funds. With a few different things that Tony can talk about, we'll fund the rest. They're gonna finalize the contracts in their meeting, and then they'll come back to us for that. So this is more informational only. But after 20-some years, we're finally getting this project done, thanks to all the hard work of everyone involved over the years, so.
And there were several pilots, separate of corporations at the meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
With the commissioners expressing what the need for it. It was basically, it was either do it now or you're never doing it.
It's not gonna happen if we don't do it now, and we've had numerous happenings lately where people wanted to charter aircraft and they couldn't because we'll pick you up in Lawrenceville because we can't fly in Daviess County, just because of that 5,000 foot minimum. With Crane and Westgate, we're gonna have more, and we want them here. We don't want them going to Bloomington and Lawrenceville. We want them here. You know, we want Daviess County to be a part of that. So it's definitely the right time.
And I've heard you say more than once it's been talked about for.
I asked Bob Barron at the Lincoln dinner the other night how long it had been, and it's been so long now Bob can't remember exactly when he took me out there, but I know it was in the early 2000s that they had this vision, and kudos to the airport. They didn't go out and do something that they shouldn't be doing. They were trying to follow the FAA guidelines, and they had a plan laid out for it, but FAA has been a hindrance to getting this project pushed over.
You've sat in meetings.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's probably gonna cost us at least $500,000 more than it should because of the way inflation has taken everything. But it's great to get this thing headed toward the finish line this year.
The good news, and this didn't come out of yesterday's meeting, once that gets built and those counts go up because of it's fully refundable via grant money for the FAA. So just because we've spent it, we could get that back.
Oh,
so
that's good.
that's something that didn't come out in the meeting yesterday, but definitely needs to be said. Go ahead, David, if you want to come up, please. David is.
You knew there was a possibility.
Well, one thing that extending the runway does for us is it puts us in a different category with the FAA. So that allows us to go get more funds through FAA grants and things that we can be able to do more things out there at the airport. So, you know, this is really a win-win, you know, and it's been worked on for a long time, like you all said, but, you know, we're almost there. So, you know, and with everything going on up at Westgate, this is only going to make things better. You know, a lot of corporations are going to be flying into Washington, so I think it, and fuel sales. You know, everyone that flies into the airport buys fuel there. They have an app sort of like Gas Buddy. There's people that land at the airport just to buy fuel. So, you know, we try to watch those prices and stay competitive with other airports, and, you know, just appreciate all your help. You know, it's really an exciting time for the Daviess County Airport.
We appreciate the board. Thank you, David.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Next up, wage committee selection. I kind of took that upon myself. We have this year's president, next year's president, and last year's president. So we have been working. Well, we haven't done an awful lot yet, except email, but we will get that out because there's a schedule in May that we need to get moved. What's the matter? We'll get on this a little quicker and a little more than we have, so. There's something you'd like to add?
No, we're good.
Salary ordinance amendment, clerk's perpetuation fund.
There.
Okay.
This is for the scanning.
Yep, so we'll get the additional appropriations on the county general. The deputy treasurer, the Medicare and perf, 141185.
We do need a motion on the salary ordinance amendment as well as the appropriation. That's two different things, please.
I'll make a motion for the salary ordinance amendment.
First by Matt,
Second.
second Marilyn, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Additional appropriations. 1411 on the county general treasurer. Questions, comments, motions?
Ooh, what's it for?
That treasurer piece is because she had an employee retire, so this was to do with the payout. That was just to make this whole.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
Approved by Mike, second.
Second.
Mike Myers, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Edit, $20,000. The
Downtown.
Yeah, Discover Downtown, which has been discussed.
Move to approve.
Moved by Tom, second by Darren, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Cooking and peanut oil now. Clerk's perpetuation. That was discussed. We were gonna wait to do the motion. I said 15 minutes, but it's been more like an hour, so.
So moved.
So moved by, who was it, Matt?
Yeah.
Second. Second, Mike Myers, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opioid restricted funds. We discussed, she talked at the last meeting. This is just the disbursements to the organizations that she had mentioned before. Schools, hospital.
West Boggs.
Yep. Questions, comments? We'll do the restricted first.
I move to approve those.
Moved by Darren, second.
Second by Mike.
Tom, Mike, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Same thing on the unrestricted.
So moved.
By Matt, second. Marilyn, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Health immunization report. Supplies, services. Any question there?
Appears that it's grant money. They just
Yeah.
need the
Appropriation.
appropriation to spend it.
Gotcha.
Yep. Was that a motion then?
I'll move to approve that.
Motion by Mr. Sprinkle, second. Second. Mike, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
You want to mention yours? Pretty cut and dried, but
Yeah. It's for new cars. I start in May, looking at new cars. I do the Kelly Blue Book on my trades. Turn that in June. Budget's approved in September. When it's approved, I go order them. This year, right before budget time, I realized that they raised me $10,000 a unit on each car, and I asked at the budget hearing if I could add money to that, and you said come back for an additional appropriation. My trades weren't as valuable as I had them down either, but I just do Kelly Blue Book and guess my mileage, you know. I usually don't take them down for that till November.
Where do they go?
My trades?
Yeah.
They
Like
go
who,
to Dodge, Ford,
who takes them though from us? Whoever you.
whoever I deal with. Yeah, I trade them in. Now I have, there was a guy that knew I was selling that blue Tahoe. He wanted it. The trade-in value was $3.5. That's what I got for it. And that went into county general. So, I guess you could count that as the additional $3,500 instead of $55,000. I'm just asking for that $3,500 trade to come back out, but it's all coming out of county general anyway, so it's, apples and at it.
Is there,
We looked at, I think the airport looked at a few of them for the courtesy car. The car they had out there was my '03 Ala patrol car, and I hadn't drove that since '07. It's been out the airport since '07. It lasted them quite a long time. I actually pulled it over one day. I thought, but
you know, I mean, obviously the price of everything's going up, but $10,000 a car is substantial.
Call Dodge and tell them that that's crazy. I thought it was as well.
I mean, but is
and
that
then
just
you got to
the
wait
car?
forever. I'm still waiting on 2. I've got 3. I'm still waiting on the Durango and the road crew truck. And I ordered them in September. I have no idea when they'll be here. So if you want to go buy a new car, you can go try. See how long it takes you to get one. So what was your question?
No, I mean, is some of that cost not just the car, but it's the modifications and all that?
You mean like putting the lights?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's separate.
That's separate.
That's $6,000 a car.
Well, you said it's 10,000 unit on 4 units, it's 40,000, but the request is for 58.5. I mean, I think that's what Darren's. That's what.
Oh no, he just made the comments.
I got 5 units.
Oh, 5 units. I thought you said 4.
4 patrol and the
gotcha.
road crew vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the road crew vehicle, I got that 15-passenger van. It's getting close to 100,000 miles. It pulls that trailer all over God's creation. I got 1,500 on trade. I just pray that I don't have to put a $4,000 transmission in it before I have to trade off a $1,500 vehicle. It's done its purpose. It's served its time, but I got a crew cab pickup truck coming for them. I think that'll be better for them and it'll last them a long time, rather than that 15-passenger van pulling a trailer. Most of the stuff, I got a camper shell for it, so most of the stuff they can put in the back, and if they need the trailer, they can always hook up to it, but they shouldn't have to as much.
Additional questions, comments for Gary?
Move to approve.
Moved by Mike, second.
Second.
Second by Mike Myers. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thanks.
We have 2 transfers. One was added from Soil and Water Conservation. Funds of $3,402 from office rent to office supplies to purchase needed miscellaneous office supplies.
Move to approve.
Moved to approve by Mike, second by Darren. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Last transfer of funds, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
$562.60.
Mm-hmm.
Make a motion to move that.
Motion by Matt, second by Tom. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You also have in your packet, by the way, lots of things to sign, don't get out. Also have in your packet, the Hospital Finance Committee's financials, statistics. Any other questions, comments from the council? Any from anybody in the audience? With that, we would accept a motion to adjourn by Tom, second by Matt. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.